At this time, I'm delighted to announce that we have the conference plan update tribal coordination element. And with us tonight, we have the Tulalip Planning Commission and also the Planning Commission manager, Julia Gold. And Julia, as I understand it, you're going to do an introduction before we get into the staff's presentation on tribal coordination. Go ahead, Julia.
I think we're getting Julia moved over to as a panelist. So I'll just give a couple of just quick opening remarks here. This is a long time in the making, bringing this element forward to the commission. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes, and you're going to hear from Julia Gold of the Tulalip Tribes, and then Henry Jennings will present an overview of the element itself. So Julia, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Snohomish County Planning Commissioners. And I am in the Tribal Administration Building in the same room with some of our other planning commissioners and staff. So I will provide a brief introduction to illustrate what Snohomish County's consideration of this chapter means to the Tulalip tribes. The Tulalip tribes are one of 3 tribes in Snohomish County, each a separate tribal nation, but they share similar stories in their interactions with local governments who plan for and regulate the areas adjacent to their lands and within the boundaries of some of the reservations reserved for them in treaty or by executive order. One common thing tribes and tribal government staff face on a daily basis is how little many citizens and some local government staff know about tribes. There are folks on the reservation who deny they even reside on a reservation because they own deeded land. So basically, they only consider trust land to be a reservation. So clearly there's a lot of misunderstanding. So the primary reason for this tribal coordination chapter is 1, to inform about tribal sovereign nations, 2, to learn and acknowledge their homeland, their interests, and their authorities under the law, and 3, to commit to coordinate on several important topics through goals and policies. Over the years, we are continuously reminded how important it is to provide information. So residents of the reservation, tribal and non-tribal, and even residents off reservation, understand the issues that are important to tribes. Both our governments, Snohomish County and Tulalip, provide economic opportunities, infrastructure, and other services which we coordinate to fund and develop. But we also need to better coordinate the regulation of land use activities to assure that impacts will not degrade water quality, fisheries, habitat, and other resources that are important to the tribes and guaranteed by the treaty. With the proposed chapter, Snohomish County will be one of the first in the state to include such a policy chapter in their comprehensive plan. This is consistent with the state law that was known as HB 1717, passed a bit over a year ago, which set up a framework for exactly this type of coordination between tribes and their neighbors. The tribal coordination chapter is a significant step that will allow us to build a strong and lasting relationship necessary to work together on these issues now and into the future. Lastly, I want to thank Snohomish County staff for working with us and for some of the support that people have expressed who wrote in their opinions about the chapter, and for your interest and consideration of this chapter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julia. Appreciate your comments. David, are you going to present tonight on the county side, or how do we do this? Oh, Henry was here.
Yep. Henry Jennings will be handling the presentation, and then Henry and I are available if there are any questions.
Okay, Henry, take it away.
to fire up PowerPoint here, and I will share my screen, and hopefully you will all be able to see it. Let's see what is going on here. All right, is everybody seeing a PowerPoint?
Yes, we are.
Fantastic. Okay, so good evening, commissioners. My name is Henry Jennings, and I am a planner with Snohomish County Planning and Development Services in the Long Range Planning Group. This is the informational briefing on the tribal coordination element of the comprehensive plan. The purpose of this briefing is to describe the tribal coordination element and to provide an overview of the proposed amendments, to summarize public comment received to date, and to provide an opportunity for the commissioners to ask questions and provide feedback. A detailed staff report was provided in advance of this briefing. The tribal coordination element is not a required element under current state law. Snohomish County recognizes the importance of coordinating with tribal partners on issues of shared concern, and as such, the county is bringing this element forth to establish a policy framework that recognizes the effective relationships that currently exist and to enhance future coordination by clarifying the roles and responsibility of the county and continuing to ensure that tribal partners are included in the planning process. A point of emphasis on this briefing is that this element does not place any requirement on tribes in the county. It only places requirements on Snohomish County. It contains policies specific to coordination with 3 tribes with trust lands in Snohomish County: the Stillaguamish, Tulalip, and Sauk-Suatal. The tribal coordination element and the policies within were created and reviewed through the lens of the vision statement for the 2024 update to the plan. Part of the rationale for this new element is to ensure that tribal partners have a voice in moving the county towards the shared vision for the future. The tribal coordination element supports the vision statement through policies focused on recognizing and supporting tribal cultures in Goal 1, working collaboratively with tribes in Snohomish County to protect cultural resources, Goal 2, by incorporating regular and meaningful consultation into policy decisions, Goal 3, and by working towards the creation of a framework for cooperative discussion, Goal 4. The tribal coordination element helps promote open lines of communication, information sharing, and collaborative decision-making. The tribe-specific policies within Goals 6, 7, and 8 aim to recognize the individual contexts of the Tulalip, Stillaguamish, and Sauk-Suatal tribes. The tribal coordination element also values the natural environment with policies aimed at recognizing the importance of working cooperatively to develop strategies to manage the impacts of climate change on sovereign and treaty resources in Goal 5, while also protecting archaeological and cultural resources. The new goals, objectives, and policies incorporate the vision statement into the narrative, establish comprehensive plan policy backing for regular coordination meetings, and also contain goals, objectives, and policies focused on climate resilience. This is the cover page of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Tulalip tribes in Snohomish County. This comprehensive plan element establishes comprehensive plan backing for some of the contents of this. The Vision 2050 policies that influence this element are MPP RC1 to coordinate planning efforts among jurisdictions, agencies, federally recognized tribes, ports, and adjacent regions where there are common borders or related regional issues to facilitate a common vision, MPP RC4, and countywide planning policy JP7. I'm going to spare everyone reading the rest of these off the screen. These are not the only multi-county planning policies and countywide planning policies that influence these. These are just 3 of the highest level ones. The draft narrative, which was provided beforehand, demonstrates consistency with the vision statement for the 2024 comprehensive plan. It also provides the GMA context, demonstrates consistency with the MPPs and CPPs, and also contains information recognizing the historic context for tribal coordination in the region. This again emphasizes that the tribal coordination element only places requirements on Snohomish County, not on any of the tribes. We're now going to get into the draft policies. The document is structured with 8 total goals with subsequent objectives and policies. There are 5 general goals that are not specific to coordination with any one tribe, and there are 3 specific goals, 1 each for coordination with the Stillaguamish, Tulalip, and Sauk-Suatal tribes. I'm just going to read the goals because this has been provided to the commissioners beforehand. Goal tribal coordination 1 is recognize and support tribal cultures. Goal 2 is to collaborate with tribes to avoid or minimize adverse impacts to tribal archaeological and cultural resources. Goal 3 is to conduct regular and meaningful consultation with tribal officials on coordinated planning efforts that may affect tribal interests. Goal 4 is to coordinate with tribes to establish a framework for cooperative discussion and consultation on issues of mutual concern. And Goal 5 is to build resiliency to the effects of climate change in a way that employs innovative, coordinated efforts and recognizes the importance of protecting tribal, sovereign, and treaty rights and cultural practices from extreme weather, increasing temperature, and rising sea levels. These are the 5 general policies. Now we're going to get into the tribe-specific policies. Goal 6 is specific to the Stillaguamish tribe. Continue to develop and implement cooperative land use planning with the Stillaguamish tribe of Indians. And here are the two objectives that are underneath this goal. Goal 7 is specific to the Tulalip tribes. Continue to develop and implement cooperative land use planning with the Tulalip tribes for lands within the exterior boundaries of the Tulalip Indian Reservation. And Goal 8 is specific to the Soxhuatl. Continue to develop and implement cooperative land use planning with the Soxhuatl Indian tribe. So that concludes the very high-level view of the goals contained within the tribal coordination element. The public participation for this element includes the SEPA scoping, which began on November 1st, 2021 and ended on December 3rd, 2021. Preliminary draft policy amendment 30-day comment period, which ran from May 1st to May 31st. I believe we received 6 comments on the element, and continuously through the 2024 update project website. Public participation has also taken the form of community engagement events, which we've had a consistent schedule of running for about the last month and will continue to run for about another 2 weeks. The next steps. Staff will review comments received tonight and determine if there are any further amendments required to the element. All questions not answered tonight will be responded to via email, and public hearings on all of the 2024 update amendments start on October 25th and continue through October 27th. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Henry. Any questions? Oh, Chrisette?
Yeah, I would just like to say I'm extremely excited about this coordination effort, coordination element, rather, and really appreciate all the work that has already started. And I'm very excited to see where it goes. Thank you.
Thank you for that
Thank
comment.
you, Chris. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Commissioner Sheldon.
Mr. Chairman, it's kind of one of those hard things. Do I get to speak because I'm a Tulalip tribal member, and also my blood is Stillaguamish and also Soxhuatl? So would I be a conflict of saying anything?
No.
No, David. All right. I'm glad. After the 2016 FASCO that we had, and the Treaty of 1855, it's about time. And I've gone to events where, of course, the Puyallups tribe say they have a great relationship with Pierce County, and the same things with Muckleshoot with the King County, and it's about time. Glad that we are going to have a great relationship with Snohomish County. It's on record, and hopefully this will pass this coming October with our big long 3 days of trying to get these all okayed. But I thank you all for the staff for working on this, because I believe we're going the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. It's very hopeful, and it's up to us to work in that direction, I think. Any other questions or thoughts? Julia, I wish we were in a position to take comments from the Planning Commission from the Tulalip tribe, since I think several of them are here. But any thoughts that you can pass on to us or comments that you've heard, we'd love to hear that.
Yes, and I'm sure that at the public hearing, there will be that opportunity.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other thoughts from commissioners at this time? I've got an idea, David. From the staff perspective, I understand that regular meetings are planned, and if it's appropriate, I wonder if it'd be possible for our planning commission to be briefed on what those topics are when you meet with the tribe, so we can track with you. And as as ideas take fruition, it comes to a point where there'll be a presentation or a request for action that we're tracking with you as you guys develop your ideas. We're not saying we want input. It's just more, just let us know, keep us abreast of things as they develop. I hope that that's a good idea. I'm really not sure. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, no, it's a good comment. I think moving forward, there are, as Henry mentioned, a fair bit of what's in the tribal coordination element is codifying in effect, or maybe more formally memorializing what we've done through the MOU and other things that we've developed in our coordination with the tribes outside of that. And I should just note that while this is PDS that is presenting this element, this new element, there's quite a bit of coordination that occurs outside of PDS with other county departments. Greg Ferris was on earlier. Surface Water Management does quite a bit of coordination with our tribal partners. Parks does coordination with tribal partners, and certainly Public Works on the transportation side, where there are projects that may cut across tribal lands as well. So, this element does, as Henry said, it applies to the county. It is something that's forward looking. We met with the Department of Commerce. I think it was maybe a couple months ago. They are extremely ecstatic of what we're putting down on paper, and this may be a model for other jurisdictions across the state. So there's an aspect of that presents itself very well. But I think to your point, yes, I think there will be opportunities in the future, and we may be able to incorporate them in either through summary reports, or potentially, as we've done in the past, kind of in the midst of the pandemic, we held a joint session between this commission and the Tulalip Commission, and that may be something that we can look forward to in the future as a potential as well. So yeah, I think the sky's the limit, so to speak, here with what we're advancing, and I share the comments that Commissioner Sheldon has, which is it has been a long time coming.
Thank you very much, David. Any other questions or observations from commissioners on the Tulalip Tribe coordination with the county? Well, David, Julie, and Ray, thank you, all three of you, for your comments and input. We appreciate it, and we'll look forward to working with you in the future. And I don't say that lightly. This is kind of a big deal.